Hi, hello, namaskara. Myself Mahesh Prasad from Department of Physics. As you know, well, dear students, we are in a chapter that is the mechanical properties of fluid, right? So far, we have discussed about many concepts under this particular topic. We have started with the pressure, the basic formula for pressure, that is P which is equal to F by A, and also we have discussed about atmospheric pressure, what could be the pressure which is acting on the surface of Earth. So these are the basic concepts you have studied, right? And one more thing, in today's class, we are going to have kind of interesting topic like you might have surprised how is it possible to take off a flight? What could be the physics behind the wings of the particular aeroplane and how your wings of the aeroplane is helpful to fly an aeroplane, right? And also you might have observed a phenomena like during a storm, the wind of the house will blown off. Why it is so? And also you might have observed, if you stand in a railway station, hope you all are visited railway station, if you stand nearby a fast moving train, imagine you are standing over here and your train is moving very fast nearby you. At the meantime, you have observed a phenomena like there is a possibility for your whole body tends to move somewhat like this towards a fast moving train. Why it is so? You will get all those questions, you will get answer for this, all the questions which I have asked just now under this today's class. Okay, so before we move to this, we'll discuss what exactly we are supposed to deal initially. That is nothing but the types of a fluid. So when I say types of a fluid, there must be some variety of types, right? So basically we have two types of flow of a liquid. One is the streamlined flow and one is streamlined flow and one more is turbulent flow. We'll discuss initially what exactly the streamlined flow is. So according to the definition which we can see on the board, streamlined flow, which is nothing but a fluid flows in such a way that velocity of the particle, in the sense whenever a fluid moves from one point to another point, obviously it is moving with some velocity. Are you getting or not? Whenever a fluid is moving from one point to another point, it should move some velocity, it should move with some velocity, right? So for example, if I take one pipe somewhat like this, or there is one pipe I have taken somewhat like this, okay? Imagine this is the pipe which is having some water which is flowing in this direction, and this is the flow of direction of a particular liquid inside the pipe over here. So don't you think your pipe which is having some liquid, then your liquid which is made up of n number of particles, yes or no? Yes. Your liquid which is made up of n number of particles or n number of molecules. So according to the definition of streamlined flow, what it says that the particle, don't you think this particle is having some velocity? Let us say it is a point P and this is the point Q. Let us say the point P, all the particle of the velocity, all the particles are having the same velocity as V1. That is a V1. Let us say if I take one more cross section over here, if all the particles is passing through this particular area of cross section, if it is having a velocity V2, V2 and V2, which means your particle of the liquid are moving with the same velocity when it crosses an area of cross section, correct? So if it is so, if the particle is covering the particle of the velocity is in same magnitude and direction at a particular point, then we can say that particular flow is called as streamlined flow. What example I can have over here? We can have the example like the fluid or a liquid which is flowing in a pipe in your household, right? So that is example for streamlined flow over here, right? And one more thing we can have that comes under the example, we can have the calm flow of water. The calm flow of water we can have as an example for your streamlined flow. That is one thing. And similarly, we can go with the turbulent flow over here. What do you mean by turbulent flow? It is nothing but kind of in order as well as disorder or irregularity. It's an irregular flow we can say. What do you mean by irregular? Which is not same. The particle of the liquid is not going to have a same velocity at a particular point. Are you getting? What example I can give for this? The example we can give like during a flood, the flood water. Do you think the velocity of the particle are same at a particular point over there? No. Why? Because each particle of the liquid which is having a different different velocity at a different point. So if it is so, we can call it as that particular flow is called as what? Streamline. No, not a streamline. We can call it as a turbulent flow. So what example we can give over here? The example we can give like the flood water of a river. The flood water of a river. So this is a basic example we can have over here, right? So next one we will discuss about that is equation of continuity. You will get to know the more idea about this well. Well, dear students, we will move on to the one more topic, that is the equation of continuity over here. Okay. So what it says that according to our previous discussion about streamline flow, what do you mean by streamline flow? When we can call it as the flow of liquid as a streamline? When in such a way that if the particle of the liquid flows in such a way that velocity of the particle at a particular point, if it is same or a constant, we can call it as that particular flow is nothing but streamline, right? So similarly, according to this equation of continuity, what it says that when a liquid flows steadily or a streamline flow, where the pipe is having a variable area of cross section and the product of area and velocity is constant. How? We will discuss. Let us take one pipe which is having a variable cross section. Let us say somewhat like this. And this is the kind of pipe which is having a variable cross section over here. Okay. So now we will discuss. Let us say this is the point P and this is the point Q over here. Right now your liquid is moving from P to Q. From where? P to Q. Right? And this is having the area at point P is having the area of cross section as A1, and at the point Q we can have area of cross section as A2. Let us imagine at a point P the velocity of all the particle is like V1, and velocity of all the particle is passing through area of cross section A2 as V2 over here. So if we have such kind of scenario, we can say that we know volume of the liquid which is passing with respect to unit time. What would be the volume, the total volume of the liquid passing at point P? We can have that is nothing but we know volume which is nothing but area into displacement. Correct? Now we know the basic relation of the velocity. Velocity is equal to what? This velocity is equal to displacement with respect to time, right? Now, if I make t as 1 second, can I say velocity is equal to displacement? If I make v is equal to d by 1, so v is equal to d in a unit time of interval over there. Correct? So, if I say what would be the total volume of entering the total volume of liquid entering the per unit time. So I can have this area of cross section into this particular velocity of the liquid. So A1 into V1 gives the volume which is the volume of the liquid which is entering the tube over here. Correct? No? So similarly, what would be the volume of the liquid which is leaving at the point Q over here? So what is the area of cross section we have over here? That is A2. What is the velocity we have? V2. So we can have A2 into V2 over here. Correct? No? Yes. So now we know the basic relation of a mass, which is nothing but a density. Our density is equal to, we know, mass by volume. we have a mass. So how to write with respect to mass which is equal to density into volume, right? So what could be the mass of the liquid which is entering the per unit time? What could be the mass of the liquid is entering at a point P? Entering at a point P. So how to write this? Let us write M1 which is equal to volume can be replaced by what? At a point P. Volume is A1V1. A1V1 into the density, let us say rho 1. And the mass of the liquid which is leaving the per unit time at a point where? At a point Q. What is the volume we have? Let us go with the same equation, that is M2 which is equal to A2V2 into rho 2. Why? Because A2V2 is the volume which is volume per unit time, correct? Which is living at which particular point? At a point Q we can have, right? Fine. Now, we know mass of the liquid is flowing in and out in a particular time interval is the same over here, remains constant. Whatever mass which is entering, the same mass is going to, which is come out. So if it is so, can I write this is nothing but M1 which is equal to M2 over here. So we can write this M1 which is equal to M2. This M1 can be replaced by A1 V1 rho 1 which is equal to A2 V2 in rho 2. Since we are considering as a fluid like density, generally liquid is incompressible, right? So that we can have a density is a constant throughout the flow, so that we can have that rho 1 which is equal to rho 2 which is equal to rho. So if it is so, can I cancel rho 1 and rho 2? So what is remaining over here? That is nothing but A1 V1 which is equal to A2 V2, right? So this is the remaining product I can have over here, correct? No? So what we can conclude here is that the product of area of cross section of the pipe with respect to the flow of liquid which is passing through a area of cross section which is equal to product of area of cross section into the speed of the liquid. So that's what this equation of continuity which represent. According to this, when a liquid flows steadily through a pipe of a variable cross section, the product of area and the speed, the product of this area and the speed of a liquid remains the same at all point. So that we can conclude A into V which is equal to constant. So this is how exactly we are supposed to prove this. Okay. So this is what exactly your equation of a continuity says. The product of area, whatever may be the area of cross section. Okay. The product of area of cross section into velocity gives is always constant, right? So this is how exactly we can find under the concept of equation of continuity. We'll move on to next one, it is the Bernoulli's theorem. Fine. Well, dear students, we will discuss one of the basic property of energy. Like if imagine there is a pipe over here. If the pipe, inside the pipe, if there is a fluid, that particular fluid, if it is moving in a streamline flow, what do you mean by streamline flow, by the way? The motion of the liquid is, the motion of the liquid in the sense, the particle of the liquid which is having some velocity, at a particular point, each particle are having the same velocity. If it is so, that particular flow we can call it as streamline flow. So similarly, if the fluid is a streamline flow, we can have that particular fluid can have a variety of energies like potential energy as well as kinetic energy as well as pressure energy. Okay. So now we'll see what exactly the pressure energy is. Okay. So this is the energy possessed by a liquid due to its position. So whenever we say, for example, if I say there is a pipe somewhat like this, and this pipe which is located with respect to a certain distance with respect to the ground, then I can say, since a position comes into a picture whenever I speak about the potential energy, so obviously we have a relation based on our potential energy, that is nothing but pressure potential energy is equal to, that is mgh, where m is the mass of the liquid, where g is the acceleration due to gravity, where m is the mass of liquid, and g is acceleration due to gravity, and this h, which we can call it as height, the height of the liquid, where it is located, okay? And this is what exactly we can find potential energy. As height increases, potential energy is also increases. As height decreases, potential energy is going to decrease. Why? Because potential energy is directly proportional to height. That's why. Okay? So obviously the potential energy is nothing but the energy possessed by a liquid due to its position. Fine. And similarly we can have kinetic energy over here. So don't you think if I speak about a pipe somewhat like this, if this particular pipe contains some fluid, if it is moving, so whenever a particle moves from one point to another point, particle in sense particle of the liquid, whenever a particle moves from one point to another point, obviously it should move with some velocity, right? So now it is energy possessed by a liquid due to its motion. So if the velocity of the particle is increases, obviously we can say that there is an increase in kinetic energy. Why? Because we know this kinetic energy is equal to the half m v square, where m is the mass of a liquid and v is the velocity of a liquid. Okay, so v is the velocity of the liquid, where m is the mass. Since your velocity is directly proportional to kinetic energy, as the motion increases, as the particle gains some velocity, what happens? Its kinetic energy is going to increase. So that's why the energy possessed by what? The energy possessed by a liquid due to its motion. Fine? Well. And one more thing we supposed to discuss is the pressure energy. What comes to your mind when I say pressure? Pressure energy is the energy possessed by a liquid due to its pressure. Basically, in ideal gas equation, we have one relation, that is pressure energy. The pressure energy we have, which is equal to P into V, where P is the pressure, V is the volume. Okay. So we know volume can be replaced by what over here? With respect to the relation of density, mass by volume. So if I write with respect to the volume, I can write this is mass by density, right? So we can write this pressure energy also m into P divided by rho, where m is the mass of the liquid, where this rho is called as the density of the liquid, where P is the pressure. Are you getting? So this all those things which makes a pressure energy. So if you want to create some pressure, their volume is also comes into a picture, right? So that's why we supposed to deal with respect to the volume of the container, correct? So that's why, and this is how exactly we supposed to take the energy. Why I am explaining all this energy? Because the next theorem which we are going to deal, that is the Bernoulli's theorem, there which includes these three energies, so that we are going to have a clear picture about what we are going to do. So what is the potential energy? Potential energy is possessed by liquid due to what? Its position, and kinetic energy is possessed by liquid due to what? Its motion, and pressure energy is possessed due to what? Its pressure, right? So, well. Well, dear students, we'll move on to the one more topic that you can see on the board, that is nothing but Bernoulli's theorem. Fine. So according to this Bernoulli's theorem, we are going to have a n number of application in a day-to-day language. So before we move to our application things, we'll discuss what exactly the Bernoulli's given to us. Okay? So according to him, what he says that if a fluid is moving in a streamline flow of a variable cross-section, we can say that the sum of potential energy, kinetic energy and pressure energy per unit mass is constant. In the sense, let us take one pipe which is having area of cross-section somewhat like this. Say is one side and this is another side, and this pipe which is located a certain height with respect to the ground over here, and this height we can say call it as, let us say, h1, and this height which is located with respect to h2 over here, and obviously it is having some area of cross section. Fine. So let us say this one, let us say point P, let us say point A and point B. And the point A is having area of cross section as A1, and here area of cross section as A2 over here. Okay. So now your fluid which is moving from A to B, let us say, since it is in a streamline flow, we can say that particle of the fluid at a particular point A which is having the same velocity. So then only we can say the fluid is in streamline flow. Right? And let us say V1 as the velocity of the particle which is crossing area of cross section A1, and you consider V2 as the velocity of a fluid particle which is crossing area of cross section as A2 over there. So according to the definition which is given by your Bernoulli's, what it says? The sum of potential energy. So basically what we have potential energy formula? Let us consider at one point, we can say that according to your Bernoulli, according to your potential energy, we know potential energy which is nothing but mgh, right? So now here potential energy mgh1 plus what is the kinetic energy we can have over here? What is the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy we have, it is nothing but half mv square, let us say half m v1 square plus what then? Pressure energy we have, that is the pressure energy we have, that is m into p divided by rho, let us say plus m into p divided by rho. It is a P1. Let us say P1 is a pressure at a particular point A, which is equal to, we can say that, we can say what we can say over here. Let us say we'll do that, which is equal to, we'll consider the same concept to the other side, that is the point P over there. It is equal to mgh2 plus, this is the potential energy, then kinetic energy half mv2 square plus, then what is the pressure energy we can have at a particular point B, that is mp2 divided by rho. Okay, why can't we rho 1, rho 2? Because generally your fluid is incompressible, we can say rho 1 is equal to rho 2, that's why. That's what we have discussed, a similar concept we have discussed in terms of equation of continuity as well. So by taking help of all those concepts, we will get this particular scenario. Now, according to him, what he says, when a fluid is in a streamline flow, the sum of potential energy, kinetic energy, and the pressure energy per unit mass means divided by m is a constant. So if I divide by m, what we can have over here? Here m is a constant over here. So I can write that's nothing but gh1 plus m. It is half V1 square plus P1 divided by rho, which is equal to V. If I take M as common over here, what I can have is a GH2 plus is a half of V2 square plus P2 divided by rho, and if it is so, it is the sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy is constant. In the sense we can write this as GH plus half V square plus P by rho is equal to constant, right? So this is the formula we can have for your Bernoulli's theorem. And also the one more formula we can write, that is nothing but if I multiply rho to the both the side, which means if I multiply the whole by rho for this, will it affect our actual value? No. So if I do so, you bring this rho to the other side, and if you multiply this particular bracket with one more formula we can write, that is the rho GH plus half rho V square plus, and this rho will get cancelled, then the P which is equal to constant. So this is also possible. So this condition is also possible, and there are two conditions we can have. This is the potential, it is the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy and pressure energy per unit mass is equal to constant. Also, this is one more form of your Bernoulli's theorem where it is necessary, based on the hints of the numerical, we can use either this formula or this formula. Nothing but a same. This is how exactly works your Bernoulli's theorem over here. Okay, fine. Well, dear students, we will see what exactly the application of your Bernoulli's theorem over here. Okay, so what we got in the Bernoulli's equation, it is nothing but the sum of potential energy, kinetic energy and pressure energy is constant. Okay, so if it is so, by taking help of this particular relation, we will get to know some of the application of how your aeroplane wings are constructed and what makes your aeroplane is going to fly, correct? And similarly, what could be the principle behind a sprayer, like the perfume spray you might have observed. If you press, so obviously it will sprinkle out the perfume, right? So how is it possible? And it's very simple. If I consider one part of the aeroplane, like one part of the wing over here, so obviously whenever your aeroplane starts moving somewhat like this, so what happens? The upper part of the aeroplane experience a maximum velocity. Let us say V1, and the lower part can experience a velocity as V2, which means the upper surface of the your aeroplane velocity is more. According to the observation, what we can find here is that the product of potential energy, kinetic energy and pressure energy, and here you observe velocity over here. If velocity increases, to maintain a constant pressure, to maintain a constant as a whole term, the pressure should decrease, right? So one thing you have to remember by looking at this particular idea, if velocity increases, pressure is going to decrease. So keep this particular mind in your mind. So whenever we have increase in velocity, there will be a decrease in pressure according to this relation, correct? So if we have an increase in velocity on the top surface of the aeroplane, so obviously there will be a low pressure which is created on the top surface. So now here we have a low velocity at the bottom. So obviously high pressure will be created, correct? So we know pressure is going to move from higher pressure to lower pressure. So if it is so, whenever your plane is moved from one point to another point, since the top surface of the aeroplane experiences a maximum velocity, obviously low pressure is created over here, so that what happens, there will be a lift will take place. Okay, why? Because your pressure can move from where to where? Higher pressure to lower pressure. That's why. And similarly, you observe one more phenomena over here. And here is a rubber ball. So let us say this is a rubber ball. When I squeeze this particular rubber ball, there is a flow of fast moving air will take place. So obviously here we have fast moving air over here. So what happens here? Low pressure is created over here, and here we maintain higher pressure, so that at the time of moving your air from higher pressure to lower pressure, along with the air, whatever liquid is there over here, it will absorb. So that what happens? Liquid will raise in liquid will take place, so that there is a sprinkle of the perfume will take place somewhat like this. Once again I will say, when you squeeze the bulb over here, there will be a fast moving air will blow over here. What happens? If you have an increase in velocity, there will be a decrease in pressure will created on the surface over here. So your pressure is moved from where to where? Higher pressure to lower pressure. Since we have maintained higher pressure over here inside the tube over here, so that what happens? Whenever your air is moves from higher pressure to lower pressure, along with the air, what happens? The liquid which was there inside the bottle, which moves along with the air, which is nothing but higher pressure to lower pressure, as a result, which comes out as a sprinkle over here. Okay, so this is how exactly we're supposed to expect over here. And if you see some example of Bernoulli's theorem, if I have the top surface of a home during a storm, what happens? Winds of this winds over the surface of this particular home will blown off. Why it is so? There will be a increase in velocity will take place. So if there is an increase in velocity, obviously the low pressure is created on the top of the roof. So since we have higher pressure inside the home, so that what happens? Your pressure can move from where to where? Higher pressure to lower pressure, so that along with the air, it is going to lift off, it is going to blown off. So this is how exactly we can find under the concept of Bernoulli's theorem, right? So this is the beauty of this Bernoulli's theorem. So keep remember this particular scenario. Whenever we have an increase in velocity, there will be a decrease in pressure. Whenever we have a decrease in velocity, there will be increase in pressure. Are you getting? So that's why we can experience whenever we stand nearby a fast moving train, when you stand nearby that, your body tends to move forward over there, tends to move towards with respect to the motion of the train over there. Why? Because train which is having a higher velocity, so obviously it creates which creates what? Lower pressure, and you are in higher pressure, so that your body tends to move somewhat like this. Okay? This is how exactly your Bernoulli's theorem is applicable everywhere. Okay? Thank you very much. We'll see in the next class. Fine.